Hello and welcome back to another video. So I've used this iPhone since the release date, and I even brought it as my daily driver to a recent vacation. I've had a lot of experience with iPhones and I do like iPhones, but there were always certain things that brought me back to Android. However, with this iPhone, some things have changed and have made me considered using this iPhone as my daily driver for the long term. Also worth noting are there have been many improvements to the regular iPhone 12 series, which we'll compare near the end to see if I think this is worth it for you guys. One thing that hasn't changed since the iPhone 10 is the price. This phone is $1,000, but this time it has 128 gigabytes of base storage as well as 5G. To get into the phone, we have Apple's infamous Face ID, which is generally both secure and fast. However, in a world where we are wearing masks very often, Face ID has become the most inconvenient biometric I've used. If you haven't figured this out yet, just go to an airport where a mask is required the entire time and keep putting in your passcode every single time you want to unlock your phone. That definitely was not a highlight of my vacation. The new design of the iPhone includes this boxy design that we haven't seen since the first gen iPhone SE, and I have to say that I'm a huge fan. It allows you to grip the phone better, and it allows the phone to be thinner, which are some things I do like. Something that isn't new is the notch. For 4 generations of iPhones now, we have been stuck with basically the same notch. Now I know there may be an argument for that's the reason we have Face ID, or the notch is a signature design of the iPhone. But when you've used phones like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra and many other devices, you realize that there are better solutions than Apple's notch. Apple did put slightly new displays on these, so that's also worth noting. They increased the screen size from 5.8 inches with more pixels. The display is excellent as usual with very natural colors and great sharpness. 5.8 inches on the regular 11 Pro and the iPhone 10 felt a little bit too small for me, but 6.1 inches on this iPhone 12 Pro actually feels like the perfect sweet spot. I feel like it's perfect for handling, and it doesn't feel too small when I want to watch content on here. Speaking of watching content, I want to say that it's just a pleasure to watch on here. The speaker system is very good, just like on many iPhones, and like I said, the display is very good. So with those two things combined, we get an excellent experience out of content consumption. Okay, something Apple has done slightly worse than last year's iPhone 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max is battery life. I was able to kill this in a day, unlike my iPhone 11 Pro Max. Yes, I know this isn't the Max, but even Apple rates the iPhone 12 Pro at having 1 less hour of video playback time than the iPhone 11 Pro. The reason for this is Apple used a smaller battery cell than last year, and they included 5G. My worst days of battery life came on days where I was out and using cellular data. The battery is about 230 milliamp hours smaller than last year's iPhone 11 Pro, and Apple believed that the efficiency of the A14 Bionic would be able to make up for this decrease. I do have to say I'm quite impressed. A 2800 milliamp hour cell in many Android flagships wouldn't do as well as it has done here. Just look at the Google Pixel 4. But I'm still not happy with it, and I don't think the A14 Bionic has accounted for this loss in battery size. One major improvement Apple brought with last year's iPhone 11 Pro was the camera. I'm going to do a full camera review. I'll link it if it's up here first, but just know that the camera system is very good. The stills don't impress me as much as the Pixel or even the Note 20 Ultra, but that doesn't mean they're bad. The 2x telephoto just doesn't feel enough in comparison to what I've used. I've had some difficulties getting certain shots that were a little too far, but I can easily recommend this camera system for most because the video quality is just so good. It's better than anything I've used on the Android side. Like video, iPhones have always been great performers, especially for things like gaming. So there isn't much to say here. My iPhone XS Max with the A12 Bionic still felt really really fast. The A14 Bionic is a significant improvement, but most won't see that difference in daily tasks. Either way, this is awesome for gaming, and you won't be disappointed when picking this up, and it will be future-proof, and I'm sure it will still be fast in years to come. Apple made a big deal about 5G, but truthfully, I don't believe it's ready right now. It's cool to try out low-band 5G on Verizon's nationwide network, but it isn't worth switching to at this very moment, unless you live somewhere that's very close to a high-band node, maybe in a major city, for example. I'm happy Apple included 5G for future-proofing, and I do believe that the future of 5G is bright, but if you have a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro, don't go switching because of 5G. I made a review of iOS 14 in its late beta stage, but it's even better right now. There's more widget support from different apps, and we are seeing a lot of improvements in iOS 14 in general. Many things that initially drove me to Android were put into iOS 14, such as widgets and picture-in-picture, and changing your default apps. I have to say that I've really liked the software experience on the iPhone 12 Pro with iOS 14. Now let's talk about some of those things that are missing. The things that I've noticed that are missing from other flagships I've used are a high refresh rate display, the extra battery life that we saw in last year, a better telephoto lens, a new front design, and a couple of Android-like customization features. I like to tinker with my phones a lot, and you just can't always do that. So for me, the things that were missing were enough that I decided to not make this my longer term daily driver. However, many of those things are actually being addressed in the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Given that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is only $100 more, I'm going to give that a shot to see if that can become my long-term daily driver. But do I recommend this iPhone 12 Pro to you guys? And at $1,000, it's a hard sell over its cheaper and slightly different brother in the iPhone 12. For this year, there aren't enough differences for me to justify saying that $120 more for the Pro, when you do get the 128GB iPhone 12 unlocked, is enough to make the upgrade. The iPhone 12 is just so good this year that it makes me think you should go for either the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 12 Pro Max, depending on who you are. That being said, the iPhone 12 Pro does have an excellent build, and it's a great all-arounder that I've enjoyed using. However, the extra telephoto lens and more RAM just aren't enough for me to tell you to get it over the 12, especially since most people use a case and won't care about stainless steel or the frosted back. Apple has done an interesting thing here with MagSafe and everything, but it's not something that I'm going to tell you guys to jump on if you have an iPhone 11 Pro. If you have an iPhone XS or 10, this could be a good upgrade for you guys, especially if you keep your phones for longer. But like I said, look towards the 12 and 12 Pro Max. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you all are doing well, and peace.